pulse that stirs the heart. Raise your glass and let the rhythm flow. Whispered secrets the dark can only know. We're bound by shared stories and a soulful sound. In this chill space, true peace is found. So lean back, relax, let the night take hold. Good company and whiskey warm, bold and gold. This is our moment, our vibe, our invite. Won't you come join us on the Oak and Agave live tonight?
Oh, there we go. It's got to be something. Got to be something. So, yeah, we got Coming Whiskey with us tonight. He's going to hopefully take some questions and we're going to talk about what's coming out soon and some different things. And it's going to be a good show. And with no further ado, Jake Kipper is in the house.
Hello. How are you tonight? Hey, how are you?
Better than I should be, brother.
Good deal. I'm happy to be here tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad we got this worked out. I'm gonna do a fresh pop.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Do some Michter's barrel strength rye.
Go with a bottle that I picked up this Saturday at Barbecue and Barrels in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's
Nice.
MB Roland. It's a single barrel. It's 5 years, but it's aged in a 25-gallon barrel. Oddly, it really works. It does not taste like it's spent, in a good way, it does not taste like it's spent 5 years in a 25-gallon barrel.
Huh. Man, I bet that's good. So we got our new Oak and Agave Glens. I've never tried this the Michter's barrel strength, so this is my first shot of that.
First time with it?
Yeah. I saw the big guy, Bruzel, and he just raves about this stuff. So we'll see what he's raving about.
A couple of years ago, I don't know, locally, it was like $36 a bottle, and I thought that was it was on sale at a Kroger grocery store. Really hard to beat Maker's Cask Strength at $36.
Wow, that is phenomenal. That is really good stuff. Michter's, I think it's a 2023 coming in at 110.6 proof. It's a 22 apparently.
Oh, you said in my head I heard Makers. Okay.
Yeah, I may have said Makers. I may have said that. I probably did.
Michter's Cask Strength a little bit more than $36.
Yeah. I was like $36. Maybe it was a couple of years ago.
In my head I heard Makers. Yeah, little difference in price there.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, some of the guys in the chat against my odds. He actually wrote and recorded that song, the little theme song. It's very catchy. I told him what kind of music I like. I like country music, like Eric Church and stuff like that. But so he just took off with it and wrote it and recorded it.
Well, he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think so too. He does a lot of stuff for Independent Joe. If you know Joe, are you familiar with Independent Joe?
I don't think so.
Super, super great guy. But we've got Ben, Whiskey Uncensored. Thank you for joining us. Chris Jenkins, thank you, brother. Let's do this. There we go. Make Chris Jenkins a moderator. Everybody gets a mod. Everybody gets a wrench when they come in here. Just because I feel like we're one big community. Mr. Mom, Chris Jenkins, Mr. Great Shot. Thank y'all for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank y'all a lot. But so we're gonna just kind of delve into whatever you feel like talking about. Like, I'm sure there's some exciting things coming out. Are there any?
Well,
Are there any that you can't tell anybody about? Or I guess if it's on the
um,
TV, you can tell everybody.
so every now and then there are a couple of brands that have reached out to me just to say, hey, you know,
Keep it on the low.
yeah. So oddly enough, you mentioned Eric Church earlier. Whiskey Gypsy is one of those brands that they have asked. Yeah, yeah, their kits are great. So that's one of the brands that has asked, when you see our new labels, just you know, wait. So they're usually pretty kind. They send me a sample as well.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so that's one that I sit on anytime Company Distilling, which is Jeff Arnett's new
yep.
operation, Tennessee. I don't post theirs, but pretty much everything else, it's a go.
If it's
There's
out there,
maybe, yeah, 4 or 5 brands total have ever said, please don't post our stuff. I do respect that. Everything that I pull from the federal TTB website is public domain.
sure.
If you know where to look, it's there. Anyone
Yeah,
can do it. But the
it's just
website's
really
not
tough.
exactly, it's not a user-friendly website.
No, it's
Um, but despite being public domain, if they reach out and ask that I
oh
don't,
sure.
I don't.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
goal is not to piss anybody off.
No, heck no. No, this is like I said, this is one big great community, and I never want to piss anybody off. I want to get along with everybody, and whatever. We never talk about politics or anything like that on here, but we do talk about Bigfoot, unicorns, angels, pirates. We talk about all the mystical creatures and stuff like that on the show, just to kind of bring a interesting aspect about the show.
Okay, so what do you think if Bigfoot was a bourbon drinker, what does Bigfoot drink?
I think you would drink this Michter's barrel strength.
Okay,
This
that
stuff is
works.
phenomenal. Yeah. But actually, we had a conversation on one of the episodes that there's a lot of people that believe that some of the Bigfoot creature, a bipedal creature,
Hmm.
is a fallen angel.
Okay.
There's a sect out there that believes that. So I don't know, but I know that he's the hide and go seek champion of the world.
That is that. Yeah, that's my family has taken a liking to vacationing in the summer in Michigan, and Michigan is all
Okay,
about the Sasquatch lore, and my kids love going up there and hearing
sure.
all the Bigfoot stories up there. Absolutely.
So the guy that does the show with me, Chris, he's actually in a Sasquatch hunting group. They
Okay.
go out actively seeking Sasquatch. I don't know why. What are you going to do if you find him?
I mean, he's a big guy, I hear.
he's a big one. Yeah, I don't know that I would want to go out looking for him and actually find him. Now, the process of looking for him might be fun, because I'm sure there'll be some good bourbon and beer involved in that.
I don't know if I've had a little of this, I may not be so worried about it.
What is that?
All
I
right,
saw them
so
kidding.
yeah, so this is Western Kentucky Distilling.
Yeah.
They're located in Hartford, Kentucky, which is about 30 minutes from Owensboro, where I live. So when Jacob Cole left Green River after Bardstown Bourbon Company bought them out, he went with his brother and his dad, which is Ron Cole, and they opened Western Kentucky Distilling. So this here,
Okay.
though, is the third single barrel they've done. I actually got to help pick this one for the
Nice.
barbecue and barrels in Owensboro this past weekend. So this is distilled by Jacob Call in Owensboro, but it's at Green River, but it's not the standard Green River mash bill. So
Okay.
this is a 6.5 year. It's a 13% rye mash bill at what 100 and it's over 130 proof. So
Wow.
it is
Very
pure
nice.
goodness. So, like I said, a little bit of this in my glass. I may not run away from Bigfoot if I found him. I may
Yeah.
take him on.
Yeah. Take him and a couple of oak trees on. It's all good. Yeah. So my favorite bourbon or whiskey of all time has got to be 13 Colony 15th anniversary.
Okay, I haven't had it. Tell me about it.
139.4 proof, and
Ooh.
it is just an oak bomb, and it's just so good. I mean, there's nothing else like it that I've tasted.
Okay.
Other than maybe their double oak comes close, but it blows the double oak away to me.
So
Um,
I've had the double oak once, and it's great. It is
oh yeah,
excellent.
yeah.
I understand there's a lot of potential controversy around that.
Well, that's kind of
Um,
one thing I want to talk about.
okay.
Like like how forthcoming does a company have to be with the TTB? Like
So
I've seen labels without proofs. Um, or I mean, are they? I guess they are allowed to just put the
so
label up.
the correct answer is they're supposed to follow the regulations.
Right.
There is no sliding, but the reality is that the TTB website is run by a couple of people. Um,
Really? Oh, so it's
there
not a
is
regulatory agency.
I mean, it is a government regulatory like organization, but it's a couple of human beings. Like it's not some huge bureaucracy.
I got you.
It's a couple of people who are sitting down to manually look at things. Um, one, if you follow the Coming Whiskey account, I post American whiskey, and I only post the things that are interesting.
Yeah.
There are lots that I don't post. Now, if you were to get in and look at everything on TTB every morning, there could be hundreds of things to look at.
Wow.
Every type of beverage alcohol, beer, wine, Boone's Farm, rum.
Okay.
It's not just American whiskey that they're going through and looking at.
It's
They're
any
looking at
kind of
well, and
spirit.
it's any imported spirit that is going to be sold in the United States.
Oh, okay.
So, like, there's a lot. And when you consider that it's just a couple of people sitting down to look at this and go through this, like human error happens.
Sure.
There's absolutely stuff that slips through all the time and gets approved that should not be approved.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if the TTB approves it, they go to market with it. And honestly, the people running the TTB, in many situations, they are assuming that these brands are submitting things in good faith.
Right.
They're not necessarily being detectives walking around with a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass, looking in dark places for errors.
I got you.
So, I mean, they are assuming that these brands, they know the regulations and that they are submitting their labels trying to follow that. Now, there are countless examples out there of labels that got approved that don't meet regulation. And they go to
And
market that way. And what's that?
I was like, are they?
So there's I know there's a lot of controversy regarding the 13th colony. So one, the label does not give a state of distillation. So
Right.
how the TTP
Even the new
regulations,
label does not.
yeah. Well, and there is a label that I posted that does say where it's distilled, but I don't think it's gone to market yet.
The 113, I think, may.
Okay, there was one that I posted a couple of months
Yeah.
ago that does say distilled in Georgia. But how the regulations read is that if now blends don't count. If it is a straight bourbon and it does not give a state of distillation, that is fine, as long as the address where it is bottled and produced is the same state. So, for instance, like Woodford Reserve, many of those read produced by Woodford Reserve, and it does not say distilled in Kentucky. Well, we all know Woodford Reserve is distilled in Kentucky. So when it says produced in Kentucky, it counts just the same.
Mm,
You don't have to say distilled in a state, and some brands choose to go with that. You see that with like American
mm,
brandy. Many American brandy distilleries, the label reads produced and bottled in a state, and it doesn't say distilled in that state. So the,
gotcha.
the 13th colony, that's where some of the drama comes in, is because it doesn't say where it's distilled. And a lot of people have some serious questions about whether or not it was distilled in Georgia. And then,
Right.
of course, like that double oak, like it's really dark and it is really flavorful. Um, then people may question, are there additives? And they're not disclosing it if there is.
Yeah, and don't they really have to though? Aren't they
Um,
supposed to?
Legally, well, I mean, legally, you can't call it straight bourbon if you're adding flavorings.
Right.
Um, so
I don't think it
now,
does say straight bourbon though.
well, if
So
if
that
you're, yeah, if there's flavorings, you're supposed to label it as bourbon with
right.
whatever flavorings. And they're not. And people, especially the bourbon pursuit people,
Mm,
are on this mission to kind of figure out what exactly is happening here, wanting truth in labeling. And a lot of people feel like there may not be a lot of truth in labeling regarding at least the double oak product for 13th
right.
Colony.
Yeah, and I don't care personally. Personally, I mean, like a lot of people do care, but like I don't care. I mean, it's good to me, and
Hmm?
to me, they're home folks because they're an hour away from me, right? So
Sure.
they're good people. They're really good people. I don't think
Hmm?
they would intentionally mislead anyone.
Sure.
Um, Maybe they're not 100% forthcoming, and I don't care. It's
Sure.
damn good whiskey,
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
it's great.
And that
And I certainly don't have any information about what is or isn't happening.
right?
I'm
No, I
just,
get that. Yeah,
I'm aware of the controversy, but
right.
I
Yeah,
certainly don't know.
and I think everybody's pretty much aware of the controversy, but at the same time, like I said, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's good shit to me, and that's all I care about.
It is.
Like, maybe if I don't know, maybe if I became more of a bourbon nerd and dug into it a little more or whatever, I might care. But like, I mean, as long as I'm not putting freaking poison in it, or
Sure.
whatever. You know what I
And
mean?
we've had that point in our history. So
Right? Exactly. Yeah, we had a episode called well, it was a bottle and bond episode, but we talked about all that. Like they used to put horse piss and shoe shine and tobacco spit and whatever they would put in
mhm,
there to color it and flavor it.
sure.
Um, but yeah,
Creosote and
yeah. So thank God we got away from that. I don't believe they're putting horse piss or tobacco spit in it.
I'd hope not. I'd hope not.
If they are, I'm going over there and whooping somebody's ass. Okay.
There we go.
But no, they're good people. 13 Colony got nothing but love for them. Like I said, 15th anniversary is my favorite whiskey of all time.
I haven't had the 15th
I
yet.
got about that much left in one bottle, and I got a whole nother bottle.
I know when I posted the label, it was definitely very popular. People went nuts over it. So
Yeah.
they must be doing something right there. All right, so someone in the comment here says, I like a whiskey producer whose label has as much transparency as possible.
Yeah.
All right, I certainly like transparency. I write pretty detailed reviews for Drink Hacker, and I like reaching out to the brands, especially the small distillers, and say, give me all the details. I want to know every fine detail about, you went to the trouble of creating these details, share it. So I guess the other issue though is how much do you really want on a label? Because then you look at the idea of the aesthetics of a label. Does it matter to you if the label is like too busy? Do you want it to be crammed in there? Kind of what information do you think should be on the label as far as
Well,
transparency?
um, I mean, certainly the state of distillation. Um, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess just the state of distillation, and
Hmm?
if it's age stated, then the
Okay.
whole. I mean, I love it. I love an age statement.
Well,
That
it's interesting because like straight whiskeys, you are required to have the state distillation. And what many may not realize, if it is a blend of multiple states, while the label says a blend of straight bourbons, a blend of straight rye, you're not required to list any of the states. So, like lately, we get barrel craft spirits where they're giving us every single state that's in that blend. They're not required to give any of that.
yeah,
If
well,
it's,
that's cool. I mean, I mean, shit. The more, the merrier. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But like, just with the whole controversy thing is what I was really mainly speaking
Hmm?
to. Like, I don't care what if it's if it's got flavoring in it, then sure they're being a little untruthful, but it's still so good.
Well,
At
and
that
and
point, if they are, then it's a damn cocktail, right? I mean,
and when it comes to flavoring, like that's even a, a tricky topic because what do we consider flavoring? There is a well-known brand that I'm not going to name, but I'm betting many people can figure it out. They partner with a cooperage in Maine that is called River Drive Cooperage. And River Drive, they buy brandy barrels and rum barrels and whatnot from legitimate distilleries. And they have this process called fiber infusion technology, or FIT. And they essentially take like natural flavors and they pressurize them into the barrel. And they
good time.
essentially create yeah, they create a flavored barrel. They are adding flavoring to the barrel, and then they add whiskey.
Yeah,
So
well, there's no
because
question that they do. So, I mean, I don't think that was ever a mystery whether they did or
right,
not.
but in that situation, what they're doing, it avoids having to label their product as a flavored whiskey because they are not adding flavoring to the whiskey. It is being added and pressurized into the barrel. So in that situation, like it's kind of a gray area. Like based on TTB regulations, that's not considered a flavored whiskey. But
Right.
in the spirit, we kind of all, well, of course it is. But they are not forced to label their product as a flavored whiskey.
Sure. Yeah. But like I don't think anybody that is into bourbon a little bit
Yeah.
questions whether there's flavoring in Good Times whiskey
Oh,
because
sure.
everybody knows that. I mean, if you're going to come out with a Neapolitan ice cream bourbon, come on, you know.
Oh, sure.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that.
But when it comes to, what is considered a flavoring, there's a lot of gray area or a lot of ways around, you know, a lot of there's a lot of gray area, unfortunately.
Sure.
And there are lots of brands that do it. The River Drive Cooperage, that certain brand is not the only brand that uses them. So it's, that it's out there. Absolutely.
Hey, Joe, I am sorry that I did not give your introduction. Independent Joe. He's in the house. The man of the time, the man of the hour, the tower of power, too sweet to be sour. Make you scream, "Oh!" like Jerry Clower. Independent Joe.
Mouth of the South over there. Can we get Marcel Ledbetter in here?
Oh! Some of the best childhood memories of my life. I remember Jerry Clower, like my dad listening to him and stuff. Some good times.
It's good stuff.
Him and oh gosh, the guy that was a He was an editor for the Atlanta Constitution.
Garrison Keillor? No?
No. Oh gosh, somebody help me out. Atlanta Constitution back in the late '80s, early '80s, maybe early '90s. He died. He wrote a book called Elvis is Dead, and I Don't Feel So Good Myself. He wrote one called Shoot Low Boys, They're Riding Shetland Ponies.
I don't know that one.
Oh God, what's his name? That's gonna drive me bananas. All right, I gotta look for it right quick. So, what else?
All right. So what are your thoughts on the new Maker's Mark cask strength with the 7-year, 3-month age statement? It's kind of
I'm
a
excited about that. That's weird. That's
yeah, it's
weird.
kind of a
7 months,
weird
7 year, 3 months.
yeah. You're coming with your first age stated,
That
standard
is
cask
weird.
strength makers, and it's 7 years, 3 months, not 7.5, not 7. It's kind of a very random age statement there.
That is very random. I wonder why they did that.
And one of the things I found is, when I get these labels well in advance, there's no PR that comes with it. And my guess
Louis
is,
Grizzard. I'm so sorry.
okay, but my guess is when this product goes to market, there's going to be something in the press release that probably explains why it's 7 years, 3 months. But when I get the label, there's no PR to go with it, no press release, no explanation.
Right. It's
Um,
just a mystery.
but I'm going to assume there is a reason why it's 3 months and not 7 years or 7.5 years.
Well, so back to 13 Colony, they released a 7 year, 11-month bourbon. It was a distillery only release. I think it was 131 proof. I got it in there still. No, it was 8 years. No, it was 7 years, 11 months. And we asked him, why? Why didn't you just let it age one more month? He's like, because it would have cost so much more to release an 8 year bourbon than it wouldn't a 7 year, 11 month. We can just call it a 7 year. Like, why? Because they had to store it longer, for one, and I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. But
Well, and what state was it from again?
Georgia,
Georgia.
yeah,
It could have been about the I don't know. Does Georgia have a barrel tax?
I don't know.
So, like in Kentucky, every single when a barrel ages for more than 12 months in Kentucky, you pay a tax on it. So, like in Kentucky, if you were to barrel it at say 7 year, 11 months versus 8 months, you would be saving money on taxes. So I
Right.
don't know if Georgia has something like that in place.
More than
Um,
likely, more than likely, that's the case. Um, yeah. What about some of the B-Tac stuff coming out, like the Eagle Rare 12? We keep hearing about it.
okay.
Have you heard any rumors as to when it might drop or anything like that? Or
No, and Buffalo Trace tends to keep things pretty close to the chest.
yeah,
Um, they don't let things leak out a whole lot until right when it's time to happen.
I think they've got a
So
mafia crew out there or something keeping that.
yeah, but the 12 year is interesting. It bumped the proof up in comparison to the 10 year.
I cannot
Um,
wait to taste that. Oh my gosh.
so of course we'll see. Is it going to be a ghost or is it something that you can pretty readily get your hands on? I guess that'll be the question is even the 10 year went through a period where it was really hard to track things down.
Oh yeah, sure. And a lot of places it's still hard to find.
Sure.
I keep a case of Eagle Rare. Like, especially if I find a store pick, oh, it's coming home with me.
Well, oddly enough, Eagle Rare at the distillery that was the first bottle of bourbon that I ever purchased. So I
Really?
went. I had a work event or conference in Frankfurt that day. I was done early. I went to the distillery. This is before I was way into all this, and toured Buffalo Trace, and they had it in the gift shop, and I brought a bottle home, and so that was the very first bottle that I ever purchased.
Wow, and it hooked you.
It definitely hooked me, and the obsession years later, here I am. So
Yeah. Oh, like deeply obsessed.
well, and it's fun.
It is.
And I like the history as much as I do the actual drinking. I've got into this. My father was a bourbon drinker, and he passed away when I was 10 years old back in 1992. And I guess it's been, I don't know, has it been maybe 8 years now? My mom told me that, by the way, I saved the last bottle that he opened before he died in 92, and it was a bottle of Maker's Mark, which at the time that was top shelf
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I wasn't into bourbon at that point, but I realized that I didn't know anything about it, so I picked up a book and started reading, and one book turned into a lot of books. And I like the history. I
Mhm.
like learning what alcohol has meant for American history
Oh,
and what his
it's
in
huge.
how it all intertwines. And you
Sure.
can't fully understand American history without understanding the place that beverage alcohol has played in that history.
Right.
So I like sipping as much as anybody, but I like the history that comes with it.
Yeah, I do too. I've read Minnick's book that he put out. He gave us a shout out a couple of weeks ago on I think it was no, it was on here. It was on YouTube.
Hmm.
Uh, we were just kind of chatting back and forth on the chat, and
Hmm.
he said that he really loved our name. Like he thought it was a restaurant at first, but I think there is an Oak and Agave restaurant that I wasn't familiar with it, but he said that, so I went and looked, and there is
Yeah,
one.
yeah, it's a great name for a podcast. Absolutely, I
I
like it.
thought so because like I was really into bourbon late '90s, early 2000s,
Hmm.
and then I drank beer for a long time, and then I kind of got back into bourbon a little bit and started collecting just a little bit. I mean, I was able to fit it up on my refrigerator up on
Hmm.
top, and my wife was like, "We're not going to keep adding bottles to the top of the refrigerator when guests come in and look. They're going to think." I'm like, I don't give a shit what they think. It's my house. But anyway, so I was like, okay, well, I'll put some shelves. Well, no, I take that back. I had a barrel in my living room,
Hmm.
and the barrel, I moved everything from the refrigerator to the barrel, and the barrel filled up, and then it started flowing off the side and down the. And she's like, we got to do something. So it wound up being this, and
Oh,
then
sure.
it's all in the floor, and I still have the barrel full in the living room
Yeah.
too. So yeah,
I mean, we all need floor bourbon, right? I mean,
it's ridiculous. I mean, like I promised her that I wouldn't buy anymore for a little while, but then I heard Independent Joe talking last night and said, if you got a whiskey podcast or a YouTube channel, then you've got to buy bourbon. So
I
I
mean,
was like
those are the
sitting there,
rules.
and we were watching Joe together last night, and I said, "See, you listen to Joe."
So, what's the most recent bottle you purchased?
Ooh, hmm. You know what? It may have been this guy, this old Louisville.
Okay. All right. So, what did I mean bottle there? Okay. All right. What age? What we got an age on that? I can't see it there.
It's a 7 year, 122.2 proof,
All
183
right.
bottles. This is 144, 183.
Well, I'll tell you what. If next time you're in Louisville, you definitely got to go by and see. I mean, have you met Amin before?
I have never been to Louisville. I've never been to Kentucky.
Okay. Well, you need to go.
I do.
So Amin owns Old Louisville, and he is a great guy, and he knows good whiskey.
Oh,
So
it's fabulous whiskey.
Yeah, Amin's a great guy. He's a friend of mine, and he puts together fantastic whiskey. In a good way. He's a big whiskey snob, and I love it because
Yeah,
he doesn't put out crap. If he
good.
bottles it, you know it's going to be great.
Yeah, well, that's a damn good bottle. Really is. I think
So
I'm
yeah,
going to
so
grab a Pursuit United next.
okay, all right. Which one you got there?
The double oaked.
Ah, okay,
Um, let's see. Yeah, that guy.
yeah. They were also at Barbecue and Barrels in Owensboro this weekend, and I tried. I don't know if probably not the same one, but tried the double oak bourbon, the double oak rye, and the new barrel proof rye, and it's just yeah. Pursuit is putting together some fantastic stuff.
They really
Absolutely.
are. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah. So I tried the double oaked rye, and I thought it was really fun because of their core products. They're just their blend of straight ryes is my favorite. Everyone else loves the bourbon. I like the rye, but it's kind of a sweeter rye. But then the double oak with the French oak stave takes that sweetness and just adds a lot of tannin to it. And it's a fun contrast to the rye that I'm used to. I like it a lot. It's good stuff.
So, I got a question.
Oh, all right. So, yes, everything that Old Louisville is bottling right now is MGP, but
Mhm.
it's a good MGP. He bottles nothing under the age of 7. Well, actually, I'm going to say that most of what he bottles is MGP. I do know that he recently bottled a 16-year Buffalo Turkey, so he did get some of that,
Ooh.
but most everything he is bottling is MGP. Yes. And in fact, that 16-year Buffalo Turkey might be the only thing I can think of that isn't MGP. But with
Mm.
that, MGP, he has bottled MGP that is non-standard mash bills. He's bottled some, unique experimental mash bills. He's had stuff that was aged in used barrels and then he finished it. So it's MGP has a lot of interesting stuff that people don't necessarily realize exists. Different mash bills, different types of barrels. And they a lot of times they decided they didn't want it for their own branding, so they sold it off to brokers, and people like Amin at Old Louisville got it, and Dancing Goat in Wisconsin ends up with a lot of it. Of
The
those
buff
weird,
turkey?
well, of the experimental
Oh,
MGP
the
things,
MGPs. Okay, gotcha.
things that are weird mash bills, used barrels, whatnot. MGP decided they didn't really want to use it for their own branding, so they sold it off. Like I said, Amin got some. Dancing Goat bought a lot of it.
Joe, Joe, you're my good friend. I love you. You know that, right? Because of this. Joe, I got a 1 ounce bottle. I'll send you if you need that to send back to.
Yeah, the Buffalo Turkey's a lot of fun. I've had several versions of it. The 15-year. I think I've tried the 16 twice, maybe.
I've
But I
got an
think
OKI on the way.
is that a Buffalo Turkey as well, or
Yeah, yeah.
so? What's the best Buffalo Turkey you've had yet?
I have not had one.
Oh, okay. I
I
think
desperately want to try one.
I think the best one I've personally had was a single barrel from Augusta, the Augusta 15.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
Buckners. Or-
yeah, no, under the Augusta label.
Okay,
Buckner
okay.
or no, yeah, Buckners,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Buckners.
Same thing.
Yeah, old route eight's the younger one. So yeah, their 15-year Buffalo Turkey barrels tend to be extremely good. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um. So, what do you think about the E.H. Taylor coming out in the BTAC line?
Well, my wife has already said I can't hunt those because we don't have the money for it. So,
I think
Um,
it's a waste,
well, one, I'm going to assume that it's not gonna be the standard age statement. I'm
but
going
it's
to
going to be
assume.
no, it can't be, but it's going to be bottled in bond still. Though. It's going to be
I
100 proof.
mean, But then again, I mean, you look at, the Pappies and people go nuts over that, and
Yeah,
that's a low proof, but I don't know, but I guess it's kind of hard if you're gonna do a very special bottle honoring E.H. Taylor. Bottled
right.
and Bond fits, but it's also the same mash bill as the other ones.
Yeah.
So if you were to do it barrel proof,
Oh, it'd
it's not
probably be
really.
phenomenal.
It would be, but is it really going to
Mm,
differentiate from others? So I mean, but if you do a bottled and bond 100 proof,
that's true.
I mean,
But if you do
you've
age
already.
steel, though,
Yeah, I mean, it's, and of course, what kind of age statement are we looking at? Are we looking at 12 year? Are we looking at 15 year?
I would
What's it
think
going to
it's
be?
going to be north of 15 at
And
least.
it
I mean,
could
because they
be.
got Eagle Rare 17, so it's got to be better than Eagle Rare, right?
Sure.
I would think. Yeah, I mean, if they put like an E.H. Taylor 18-year out or something like that, yeah,
But at the end of the day, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, me dreaming about buying a yacht. Like I know they exist, but
right.
it's not in my budget, so it's kind of hard to get too terribly excited about it because even if
Be
I
lucky
found
to ride
one,
on a pontoon boat.
right? I mean, even if I found one, it's more than I'm going to spend on it.
Right,
So,
exactly.
but
Hmm.
yeah, and I get, people are excited about it, and
Sure.
but
Yeah,
of course, people are also some people are irked that it's going to be bottled in bond, and
yeah.
um,
I think I was listening to a podcaster the other day was talking about that. It's like, no, I think it was the junkies. I think it was bourbon junkies. They were talking about it. Like, why bottled and bond? I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would kill myself out there looking for it. You know?
well, but I get it though. I mean, E.H. Taylor, he was highly
Oh,
instrumental
absolutely.
in the
Yeah.
creation of the bottled in bond act. So I mean, it does make sense if you're going to give him his own BTAC to honor his legacy with the bottled in bond. And I mean, people who are irked by it, they're gonna have no problem selling the bottles.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh goodness. Um, I had a list of questions. I didn't write them down. And I was talking to Randy, one of my good friends. I was like, "Hey, I got coming whiskey coming on. What should I ask him?" He's like, "Ask him this and this and this and like he's a label geek. Like he wants to know like specifics and well, like you were talking about a minute ago, and like I said, I didn't care, but
Yeah.
but he
Well,
wants
and there are things that people may not realize. Like one of the things that people may not always realize is certain things on a label at the TTB point can be a placeholder. Things that can be
right,
on the label and they submit them, but that doesn't mean that it's going that way to market.
right,
Such as proof. Whatever the proof is on the label when submitted to the TTB, that's not what it actually has to be printed with.
okay,
Now, we see that pretty commonly when it comes to single barrel cask strength offerings.
sure,
Of
yeah,
course, realizing that, typically I see these labels, I don't know, 3 months before they go to market. Well, when that label for XYZ single barrel cask strength bourbon gets submitted, it's still in the barrel. So
right.
they probably haven't tanked it.
It's going to
So they
prove up
have,
or down or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. So they have no idea what that proof is going to be 2 months from now. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? It doesn't matter when they file for TTB because
yeah,
proof can be a placeholder. And for that matter, so can age. Age can be a placeholder as well. If they want to bottle an 8 year and they slap a 7 on the label for TTB, that's totally fine. They'll just have it, correct when it actually gets printed.
yeah. That was a question, and then like, um, oh God, I can't think of anything that he asked me to ask.
So
We were gonna.
what are you looking for? What are you looking forward to most as far as products coming out?
Um, you know what? I think Jack Daniels is going to come out with some more stuff soon. Jack has been putting out some bangers. Like I think you broke the 14, didn't you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Old Number Seven is absolutely a mixer with Coke.
Oh, sure.
But
Yeah.
when Jack does premium, It's good stuff.
Well, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to grab one right quick. This might be my favorite.
What we got here?
And I'm going to do an episode soon called "But I'm Not a Rye Guy."
Okay.
But I'm going to do this.
Is that
The Hero Selection Jack Daniel's Rye.
okay?
It's from Barrel House 1-13,
Okay.
which is Coy Hill. And it's coming in at 137.3.
That's a high one. I like it.
And yeah, 1-13 is the Barrel House. My folks here have seen this one before because it's a banger.
Yeah, I mean when Jack does premium, it's extremely good.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
people tend to the casual drinker thinks of Old Number 7, which is meant for mixing with Coke, but
Right.
you get that bottle shape, single barrels, or the
gold
heritage
label.
barrels, and I mean
Yeah.
that stuff gets great quickly.
It is really, really good. And I'm a Tennessee Squire, so
Okay.
I'm a Jack fan already. But and I've been to Jack Daniel's probably 10 times, and it's a great tour every time. I never get tired of it, And I think the last couple of times is when I've really started appreciating their higher proof stuff more.
Sure.
Since I've really gotten into bourbons.
Mhm.
I started off like everybody else with Jack and Coke. Hell, I was buying Eagle Rare and mixing it with Coke.
Sure.
5-6 years ago, I was mixing it. I still got a good friend of mine that I've turned him on to Eagle Rare, but he mixes the shit with Coke, and I'm like, dude, you got to get away from that. You got to learn to enjoy the flavor. He's like, but this is the way I like it. It's mine. I'll drink it like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
there's something to be said for that. I mean, it's if it's how he
Absolutely.
likes it, and Buffalo Trace will take his money just the same.
100%. Yeah. And I don't care. I don't care how he drinks it, but it just kind of hurts my heart a little bit when I see him mix it.
So when was the last time you visited Jack?
Probably about a year ago.
Okay. So my wife and I visited Jack for the first time, I don't know, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I was really surprised that the tour guide openly stated that Jack Daniel's is a bourbon that prefers to be called Tennessee whiskey. I thought that was
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, that is like
Sure.
that is truth.
100% accurate. Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that like the tour guides are openly acknowledging that now. There's been this whole, raging debate forever,
Right.
and now the tour guides are like, yeah, it's bourbon. Like we
It's
want to be called
bourbon.
Tennessee whiskey, but it's bourbon.
Right. So we had a tour guide a couple of times back. Her name was Kim.
Mhm.
And Kim was the best tour guide that I've ever had for anything.
Mhm.
Like, she was so funny, but she was so knowledgeable.
Mhm.
She would she'd have your side hurting, laughing, but telling you facts too at the same time.
Sure.
But so then me and my wife like to watch like a lot of reality TV stuff, and Kim was on The Biggest Loser.
Okay.
You remember that show?
Yeah.
And like she placed, I don't know, probably 6th or 7th or something. She didn't win it, of course, but like she placed on it, and I was like, oh, we know her. So
Okay.
the next time we went back, we saw Kim again, and I was like, hey, we want her for our tour guide.
Hmm.
And it didn't happen. That it wound up that she was like on break or whatever. I don't know. But
You get a good tour guide. I mean,
I got my picture
it's a
made
talent to
after
be
that.
knowledgeable and personable and have the humor.
She was great. Yeah, she made a lasting impression on all of us because we talk about her all the time still, even if we're not there. It's like, hey,
That's
Kim.
Well, that's
And
awesome.
that's what I hope to do. I hope to be like make a good impression on somebody. They talk good about me when they're, with their friends or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, I doubt it. Especially Joe. He's probably bad mouthing me right now. I'm just kidding. Hey, and if you're not subscribed to Independent Joe, shame on you. I'm not talking to you, Jake, but I'm sure you will catch an episode of Independent Joe here now, because he is such a good dude, and I love his show. That's great.
Yeah.
I know he does. He does. Remember Everybody Deployed Red Mondays. Joe's a vet, and he is a solid dude. He lives in California, but we'll let him slide on that one. Anyway, well, are you still good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right, awesome. I just didn't know if you had something else to do, or if you.
No. So after this, I guess for Drink Hacker, had a slushy machine come in the mail this weekend.
What?
So it apparently also makes milkshakes. So my kids are telling me we are making milkshakes tonight. So
Well, I don't want a whole milkshake making up.
no, we're good. They're good, but yeah, that's what's in store for later, is that we are making milkshakes with my kids with this
Hell yeah,
new piece of machinery that came
that
in the
is
mail.
great.
All right, so someone said they picked up the Remus Master Distiller 9-year. Have you opened it yet?
I said it's pretty good stuff.
Okay.
Magic talking. What, Joe? Okay, yeah. The Magic Talking Taco. Welcome in, brother. Glad you joined us.
So I have not tried that, and it is not distributed in Kentucky, and I'm a little irked about it, because I need to try that. Now, what I did get to try, so Ian Sturzman, the master distiller at NGP, he was he was the guest speaker at the Owensboro Bourbon Society in April, and he brought a sneak peek of the 2025 Remus Gatsby Reserve,
Ooh, nice.
and that was a lot of fun as well. But I want to go back. All right, so the 9-year master distiller. So something really fun about that is it's aged in Sagoon Moreau barrels. If you've not heard of those, they're a French cooperage, but they're out in Napa, California.
Okay.
So in June of last year, I toured MGP with Ian Sturzman, and at the end, he's pulling out samples, and he said, "Here's what we're gonna do." He pulled out 6 samples of 6-year rye from the single barrel program. And he said, I want you to tell me which of these two are the best. Because what he said is, we noticed that without any other information, there was a certain lot of barrels that, for single barrel programs, were getting picked way more than anything else. And so I blindly tried the 6 samples. I picked my 2. He's like, absolutely. So what it was is those barrels, those 2 samples were aged in Sagoon Moreau barrels, that specific cooperage. They're expensive barrels, but they produce really good whiskey. So 9 or 10 years ago, we had a barrel shortage, and these big distillers were just trying to get barrels wherever they could.
Oh, wow.
Like Independence Day, even all those, they had a shortage. So they were getting barrels from wherever, including Sagoon Moreau. They are more expensive barrels, but they were available. That's what they could get.
Gotcha.
So I've tried the rye aged in those, and it's just stupid good. So that Remus 9-year master distiller is aged in the same barrels. So when it's 9 years, it's 9 years in a very specific cooperage, which is a ridiculously good barrel maker. So I think
Wow.
that's part of what makes that release so awesome. Let's see. What is the dumbest error I've seen on TTB get approved? 130 proof bottled in bond out of Michigan. Okay, yeah, that's when you have human error. People just asleep at the wheel, and you get 130 proof bottled in bond. I mean, honestly, that's kind of hard to top right there. and kind of on that same line, there was the whole controversy between Whistle Pig, and they called it, what was it, Bonded and Beyond or something like that. And they were, and they called it Bonded, and it was like 101 proof or something like that. And they had to get rid of the label because it wasn't bottled in bond. They put the word bonded on it, but it got approved initially.
Bruzel released a video today talking about that. Like, does a bottled in bond have to be 100 proof, or can it be above 100 proof?
You get a certain margin, but it's like a 0.2% margin.
So it can be 100.2, but it can be like 101.
Correct. It
Okay.
I forget the
Is that, I mean,
exact, but it's like,
that's law?
yes, it's like 0.2. So
Okay.
it could technically be like 100.2 proof, and they would just call it 100 proof, but it
Okay.
can legally be like 100.2, and they just call it 100 proof. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the really 130 proof bottled in bond, who was that? I forget.
130 proof. Um,
I mean, that's totally asleep at the wheel stuff right there.
yeah, no doubt.
Let's see. Someone asked top
Top
five.
five.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think back. So one of my all right. So one of my top five, I actually had in in December of 2024. It was a 12-year MGP rye that was bottled by Circle City Whiskey in Indianapolis. 12-year 95.5 cask strength. It was absolutely crazy or crazy good stuff. Um, Another one of mine that it got a lot of love in some circles, but it still wasn't widely known is the it was Limestone Farms. Um it was the I forget the name, it was their barrel proof. It was a 9-year wheated bourbon. And the story on it was that Mike Safai, which was one of the founders of Rabbit Hole, he had this weird, like 4 grain, two types of honeyed wheat contract distilled by New
Hmm.
Riff. And
Oh,
okay, I see the Michigan one. So
Griffin
it
Clark.
was so it was it was a 9-year wheated bourbon contract distilled by New Riff, I guess intended for a Rabbit Hole, and it was bottled at 108 proof and almost 10 years old. And it was, like I said, it was the Private Select. Okay, that was the Limestone Farms, and it was ridiculously good. Mike Safai bottled it under his own branding, and I want to say it was like $300 a bottle. I didn't try that, but the Limestone Farm think they bottled it for like $200, I think, and it was ridiculously good. If you're interested in that, there is a smaller brand in Kentucky called Peter E. Hart. They got some of that stock as well, and I think they're bottling it for $130. So, but yeah, that Limestone Farm Private Select, it was great. For what I personally got to try. Um, Another one that I'm trying to think what else I really liked in 2024. I really liked the Sagamore 9-year rye. I thought that was crazy good
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah, I just saw that one. Aren't they
And
coming out with a
then,
10?
yeah, the 10 is coming.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
And then pulling another one, I'm trying to think. Also in my top five would have been the 7-year weeded cask strength from Highwire in Charleston, South Carolina. I only had a little tiny sample
Oh,
of it,
yeah.
but that 7-year wheated bourbon from Highwire was ridiculously good.
Yeah. So
Um,
brutally honest bourbon. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's he's good friends with the guys at High Wire out of South Carolina, and
mm,
like bourbon at Tiffany's. I think she does a lot of stuff with those guys too. She works really close to that area. Um, do you know bourbon at Tiffany's?
I vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, she does a lot of like Detling picks and stuff like that. And her Detling picks are very highly sought after.
So someone asked me about the Limestone Farm Private Select. you know, I'll say I like it a lot. When Drink Hacker did our top, 20 of 2024, I made the case for it to be included. It didn't get included in our in our top 20 for last year, but what I personally tried, um, I think it's fantastic stuff. I also, tried the same stock as the Peter E. Hart under a different company,
Okay.
and I think it's just as good under a different bottler. So I've tried that stock under two different bottlers, and I think it's crazy good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. I can't wait to hunt for some of these things you're talking about. um, so like some of the lower shelf stuff, like
Okay.
the is it JT? What is it? JT Melick?
I have never been able to get my hands on that. On the
Yeah.
you talking about the rice whiskey?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know people swear by it and they love it. It's I don't think it's sold in Kentucky. I have certainly never seen a bottle of it locally.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't tried it. I would love to try it. It's just I've not had the opportunity.
I did try it one time. Like I don't know if it I don't even know what proof it was or if it was a whatever. I don't know if it's a bottled and bond or whatever. But um, I just I just didn't care for it a whole lot. Just being honest,
I'll say
it
I've
wasn't my
had
thing.
maybe two other brands of rice whiskey, and it didn't. Those brands didn't do it for me. So I mean, I certainly want to try it, but the two others I've had, I didn't love.
Yeah, and that was my thing too. Like it was all right, it wasn't like something I would seek after, but
Now,
it was all
something
right.
I'm interested in, and it's not out yet. Are you familiar with Corbin Cash in
Oh
Atwater,
yeah,
California? All
yeah.
right,
I've got Mr. Great Shot that's on here right now. Actually, sent me this guy.
okay,
It is a single barrel 8 year 210-90 pick, 150 proof.
okay. Well, something else that they're getting ready to release in August, I want to say was it 5 year or 7 year? Anyway, they distilled a sweet potato spirit essentially to
Ooh.
bourbon specifications.
Ooh.
Obviously, it's not whiskey 'cause it's from sweet potatoes, but it still, came off the still, under, 160, went into the barrel below 125, new charred oak. And they're going to be doing finishing with that as well. So I don't know, I'm really excited just to try what a sweet potato spirit made like bourbon, in aged like bourbon, what that tastes like. But I mean, I've got what is it, what is it, an 8 year, 10 month single beer? It's the Johnny Cash pick from El Cerrito, out in California. And that Corbin Cash 8 year, 10 month is just stupid good.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd like to try that. Really would. Um, I'm going to try this next. I've never had a
Okay.
Sagamore.
Okay, the double oak.
You said it, so I got to try it now.
Yep.
This is a fresh crack too.
Yep. Now, is that one distilled in Maryland or is that one still the MGP? Because
This
it's both
is
floating around.
apparently an MGP.
Okay. So what's fun though is that
Actually,
when
hold on. I see
is it
Maryland on the
Maryland?
bottom.
Because some of those core products they have since switched over to
Yeah,
Maryland distillate.
distilled in Indiana, bottled in
Okay.
Maryland. Okay. Yeah,
Because they
I can't
have
see.
double oak coming out that is distilled in Maryland. It's just some of
Okay.
the other stuff is still floating around right now. But what's fun though is that when they switched to Maryland distillation, they kept the same mash bills, and MGP even let them buy the yeast, so it's the same
Oh,
yeast as
nice.
well.
Very nice. Independent Joe, I need a sample of that when you pick it. I need a sample of that when you pick it. But this 150 proof that
Mhm.
Mr. Great Shot sent me, this stuff is really, really good. It does not drink 150 proof. Like,
And their aging conditions must be very conducive for that high proof. 'Cause I've seen a lot of stuff from them that's like super high
how?
proof. I mean, I guess whatever that California climate is, it's just
Because, well, I was going to say the humidity, but they don't have humidity in California.
honestly, I'm not sure what part of California Atwater's in. I don't know if is it
Yeah, I'm not.
northern, is it southern? I have no
I
idea.
don't think it really matters though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they have humidity. And Independent Joe, help me out here. Do y'all have humidity in California? I know the part of California that I go to does not. I go to Irvine frequently, and
Mhm.
it's very very pleasant all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, Corbin Cash, I like what they're doing a
They're doing
lot.
good stuff. Absolutely, yeah.
So what do you think of the Sagamore?
I'm pouring it right now. I was just finishing that Jack Rye.
Yeah, I mean, Sagamore, they do well with the rye. They blend the MGP well. Their Maryland rye is actually very good as well. Okay, you got the
I'm fixing,
Zbotics going on.
I'm fixing to take one of these
Okay,
because,
so
like, so Zbiotic, use oak and agave on checkout and get 10% off.
so I'll say it has been about a year since I've had any Zbiotics, but I bought a 3 pack, and one of them I used when I went to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Um, I've got no complaints with it.
Yeah,
Um, I don't heavily drink often. But if I go to like an event where I know it's going to be more than usual,
yeah,
I usually track down a Zbiotic. Um, I know people are still, they question, but I've got I've got no complaints with it. Went to the bourbon festival, took Zbiotics, woke up the next day, oddly felt pretty fine.
yeah. Like nothing ever happened. I've got
Yeah.
a couple of things like that. So Cheers. Have you heard of Cheers?
I have not.
No. So like you pop three of those before you go to bed, and you're supposed to wake up feeling fine. And typically, I'm a little bit sluggish when I get up if I've drank a lot. And when I get on the live videos, Independent Joe especially makes me drink a whole lot. I mean, he's brutal. He just just kidding. No, but like, yeah. So I'll take the Cheers before I go to bed and pray that it works. But, but the Z-Biotic, yeah, there's no question, it's going to work.
I mean, they're not cheap,
They're
but
not cheap.
you know, I don't know, but
With
look,
science and technology, though, I
right,
mean,
if you know
that
you're
shit's
gonna you
not
know you're
cheap.
gonna consume a lot and you don't want to feel like crap the next day,
Right.
it's probably a worthwhile
Yeah.
investment.
I mean, if you're doing a podcast on Tuesday night and you're going to be drinking 150 proof bourbon, you probably should go ahead and pop one.
Like I said, it's been a while since I've had them, but I have purchased them. Um, I like them. When I go to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival again this year, I will certainly be buying Zbiotics and bringing some with me, no doubt. Not gonna, whether or not it's placebo, I'm not gonna take any chances.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, this has been fun. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
your time. And I'm not ready to go yet. I mean, but if you are,
I've got a little more, so then I'll have
yeah,
to go make some
okay.
milkshakes with my kids.
I know that's what I was thinking about. So
So
just let me
I don't
know.
know. I probably should get going. Like I said, so I can. My kids have been awfully patient, and I oddly haven't heard them, so they are being quiet while I'm doing this.
Are you
So
on Central or Eastern?
I'm on Central Time, so
Okay.
it's just
Yeah,
after 7 p.m.
7:09.
here.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
8 here. Okay.
yeah. Well, I probably should go so I can go help my kids make some milkshakes tonight. I might want one too. So,
Heck yeah. Gotta have one.
well, thank you for having me on.
Hey,
I
I
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it. I really do. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody else did. I'm sure they did. And we've all learned some stuff tonight. And let's do it again soon.
All right, we'll do. All right, have a good night.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one. We'll see you. All right, y'all. Did y'all like that? That's pretty cool to me. I enjoyed that. Joe, you want to come on? Come on, Joe. I'm going to post the link if y'all want to hop on. Come on. There. Come on. Who's on board? Let's go. Come on. Somebody. Joe. Great shot. Come on, great shot. Did y'all like that format? Or yeah, I think I liked it too. I liked it a lot. I appreciate him doing that. Really do. I've reached out to Fred Minnick, and I think he might come on the show. That'll be a good one too. Come on, great shot. Come on. I'm getting off here at 9 o'clock. I got to go to bed. You like it, Mr. Mom? You like it a lot? I like it a lot. Look at that. Oh, damn. Why didn't we see that when we were... I wish I would have saw that when he was on. I'm sorry. I have not heard that, though. I've not heard it. I keep up with a lot of bourbon and whiskey aromas and whatnot, too. I have not heard that. Mr. Mom had to get some JT Mellick. And look, I'm not knocking JT Mellick. The one I may have had may have just been not to my cup of tea or whatever, but I would definitely try it again. I've seen a lot of stuff about them lately, and apparently they're putting out some good stuff. So definitely try them again. Great shot at Joe. Y'all want to come on or both? Come on. James Morgan. I want to see your British ass on here, James Morgan.